Here we go again with our perspective house. This is the fourth video in our video series. And then, like I said, I'm teaching you a series of details that can be applied to other types of things you want to do. So what we've done so far is all of us put in the same format for the house. Your house should look the basic structure the same. We put a vertical line up from the middle of the side. We put a gabled roof on it, and all the details on our roof went to a third point up above the drawing. You can see if I wanted to go find that point again, I could just get another piece of paper, attach it, and do the same thing to find that point. We just started working on this side of the house, and we put in a double front door. And the reason we did this is I wanted to show you the system for how to find the next measured object in the series of things. So the way we found the second door is also how you could find, the fence posts, or trees in an orchard, or telephone poles, or sidewalk squares, and have them all be measured out the same and looking really, really good. So that's a nice little kind of simple system to work with, and then you just kind of keep continuing it over and over and over again, whatever it is you're up to. What we're going to do right now is we're going to add before you do any other details, but we're going to add a little porch off the front of the house. Now there's some options here. You can have the porch just be the size of the doors. Your porch can be, let's say, half the size of your house, and you just cross the two diagonals on the two sides. Bring that down. That's how you find it be that large. Or your porch can be as wide as your house. You have a wraparound porch. You have to make that decision right now. How big a porch do I want to have? I kind of like the idea of the porch that goes halfway across. So it could be at the two doors. I can put mine in halfway. It could be the whole front. How big do you want this porch to be? So I have these, I'll use my angle for this. I already have a diagonal going one way on this side. I can see it under there. So there's the other point. You see the other one. So I just go directly down from there. I guessed, and I was like right on that guess. And then here's my other diagonal from the mid. So I'm going to go over here, find the middle of the other side, go directly down from that point here. So at the base of the house, decide where you want your porch to come out. So my porch is a little bit bigger than the doors. So it's going to explode out from the back side vanishing point, just like we did with the doghouse when you put a mat in front of the doghouse. So this time we're not going to leave a space. We're just going to draw it coming out. We need to keep this super clean. So try not to make your lines any longer than they have to be. So coming from the backside vanishing point on the right, coming out from the house, either the bottom of the doors for a small porch, the midpoint like I'm doing, or maybe the whole side, or half, wherever you want it to come out. You're going to need two lines kind of coming out from the house. I would say make it come out further than this corner here, or it might be a little tight to work with. But it'll work. Whatever you want to do is going to work. And then here's one side. This angle is very specifically to the right side vanishing point in the back of the house. Now I have my other point coming out from behind, very specifically from the right side vanishing point. So we exploded out the porch from behind the house. Now I'm going to cross this over, square out the porch, depending on how big I wanted it. Like I said, I kind of like working with it when it's a little bit bigger than that corner of the house. If you have a creative idea, go for it. If you're not quite sure what to do, then I would probably just do what I did. This line didn't get complete, so I'm going to make sure it completes. Okay, now I'm going to stop and get rid of, clean up anything that needs to be cleaned up. I really need to keep this detail clean because it's going to be a really small detail. Okay, so I exploded this out from the right side vanishing point, and I crossed over it from the left side. This is a required part of the drawing. Now I'm going to add 2 steps. You can add more steps. I'm just going to add 2. So this is also required, and it's not too hard to do. It's logical, but you're going to need to do it with me. So keep, if you're behind, just stop the video and go with me step by step. The first thing we need to do is go down in the patio. So we're going to go take these two corners we just made, make a little line going down vertically. Of course, the smaller this detail, the more realistic it probably is. A person would be about this tall. So if they were out here, a person's about this tall. So I went 2 vertical lines. They just went down instead of up. 2 vertical lines. Then I'm going to cross them to the left side vanishing point. And that's our first step. Clean up any extra lines that you have anywhere. It does make a difference on this detail. So just a little piece of a line right here, I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. The next thing we're going to do, that's a step, is we're going to make another step. So I'm going to take these 2 corners here. I'm going to explode out from the right side vanishing point again. So I'm going to repeat what I did. So first I come out from the right side vanishing point. And then on that corner, then this corner here, and out from the right side vanishing point. So when we make these stairs, we're kind of going back and forth to the vanishing points, and we also have our vertical lines. So to square off, we have to see this top corner of the first step. We're about to make the top corner of the second step. This goes to the left side vanishing point. By the way, if something is wrong with your drawing, don't just keep going. You need to go back and fix it because it's not going to pull together well. You need to make sure the drawing's working all the time. That's one of the problems with perspective. You can't make a mistake and then expect the rest of the drawing to work. So I squared that off, going to the left vanishing point. So I want to make one, it's a step, so it needs to go up again. So I'm going to make 2 little vertical lines again, going down from the 2 new corners I just created. Down. Down. And then I'm going to square this off to the left side vanishing point again. So I've made 2 steps going up to the house. So I asked you to make 2 steps. You can make more. You can turn it and go in different directions. If you're loving this already, you might want to think about what you're doing next instead of doing the next things I'm going to do, because I want you to, if you want to play around with this thing, you can. So the next thing I'm going to do is, while I'm here, I'm just going to put a little sidewalk coming off the steps. So there we go. Off, and I'm just pulling those lines from the right side vanishing point out. I'm just exploding my sidewalk out from the front step. And then while I'm here, if I wanted to, I can make a sidewalk here for the drawing. Anyway, that was easy. I just pulled this out and crossed it going that way. But you may have some other ideas. So if you do, you don't have to do it the way I did it. Just the 2 steps is what I wanted you to do. You might have some other solutions. So now we have a little problem because the house, it looks like the house is kind of flying in the air all of a sudden. So we need a base on these steps. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the bottom corner of the steps back towards that right vanishing point. Where the steps first come out of the house, we're going to need a little corner here, and we're going to need a couple other corners for these. We're going to put a foundation. Your house everybody's house has a foundation. The water doesn't come in under your front door. Your house is up off the ground. So this house as well is going to get up off the ground with the next couple steps we're doing right now. First of all, where the porch first came off the house, this little point right here, we need a little vertical line that's going down. Okay, I just put this line here, going down. And then we're going to take the front corner of your steps, of your last, however many steps you're making, take your last step and draw it back towards the house until you get to that line. So I took this corner back towards the house, angled towards my back vanishing point until I got to that line. So if you need to catch up with me, just keep stopping the camera if you get behind. These aren't hard steps, but you don't want to, if you get too many steps behind, you might forget about something. So that's looking a little more realistic, but we need to put the rest of the house up on the foundation. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw a line on the corner of the actual house, vertical line going down. Let me get this house up off the ground. I'm just guessing on the length right now, but this corner right here is going to tell me how far that goes down. So using my left vanishing point as a reference, up to that new corner back here. So I'm starting to put the house up on the foundation. So I use this corner as a reference. This line goes in the direction of left vanishing point. There's still only two kinds of lines. The lines are either going to a vanishing point or they're vertical. I've only drawn vanishing point lines and vertical lines. So if you start just saying, oh, this line goes this way, you're probably about to make a mistake. They're very specific. Okay, here I'm going back towards the back of the house. We're just going to go right around the corner towards our right vanishing point. From this point towards the right vanishing point, and then putting the back house up on the foundation right here. Now we're going to, later in the next video, I'm going to show you how to build a garage if you want to do that. So I would still leave this area, leave this area alone for now, in particular. And now we have, this is too open over here. So this would cross over here, but it's behind the steps. So I just need to put a little line, a little vertical line going down, because the actual detail is being overlapped. So now this all makes sense. Now the house is up on a foundation and the stairs are going up inside. At this point, most of my students would like to put in a porch. So I would say you have to put in the 2 steps. And maybe if you don't want to put a porch in, do some more details on the front of the house. Steps are required. So right now, let me show you how to do that, and then this video is going to be over. First of all, it's a 2-story house. My porch is going to have I've done this detail before. If you want kind of a thing where they can go out and walk around on it, then you want it to be flat. It's not spectacular looking. I prefer to do it kind of like an awning so it hangs down. You'll see why. But you see this midpoint here? It's going to be attached to the house on this midpoint, and we're referencing it from where the base of the porch goes into the house, because it's going to be right above the porch, right? So I took this line from where the porch comes out and put it straight up on that midpoint, the point line, or where the porch comes out, put it straight up on the midpoint. So this is going to be the top of my porch. Is going to look a little bit like an awning. It's going to have an angle to it. That's going to be where it attaches to the house. I know it's going to have corners on it, so one corner I'm going to put right here on the corner of the stairs. How tall do I want it? I want it to hang down a little bit, so I would say about this tall. I'm going to make it a kind of like a 4x4 like we did in the birdhouse. So I'm going to have 3 lines. One line is right on the corner. The other ones are not. The top of this is not a hard detail, and it's pretty cool looking when you get done. Top of this goes over to the vanishing point. See, I'm going to have another one right here, so I'm just kind of guessing where that's going to be. And then this part of it, the side of it, is going back up towards the house. It just angled down just a little bit so we could see it. So we put this on the midline here, right above here. That's where it attached. This other one's going to attach to it right above here. I pulled 3 lines up. I made it purposely not go up to the midpoint. I wanted to angle down because it looks nice. And then I just made the 2 curves. So now I'm going to do the same thing here. I need a corner here. And then up again. You wouldn't see the other side. You'd only see 2. A little tiny line I need to erase. And then I'm going to draw from this here up towards the house. Now, as far as the awning goes, if I wanted stripes on it or something, you know what? It would have a 3rd point, just like the roof did. This awning would have a point over here. I follow the angle. This would be the 3rd point for the awning. So if I wanted stripes, I would draw them towards this point right here. So you can come up with all kinds of details and have fun with this drawing. You don't have to do this. I just actually never did it before, so I thought, So whatever types of details you come up with, each one's going to have a slightly different angle. They're all going to that third point. They're definitely not parallel. So now I put stripes up on. I don't know if you like that. Or maybe I have little scallops hanging down. Whatever kind of details you come up with on your house, have some fun with it. So you can now play around with this part of the house. Sometimes we've added railings. This would come up to the house to that same. It's right in the middle of the window. That's a little awkward, but that's okay. You don't mind. You could have a railing here if you wanted to. So you can really play around with the perspective here on the front of the house. If I wanted a railing in the same place on the other side of the house, I just transfer that. So every time you want something symmetrical, you kind of transfer it around the house. And the same railing on the other side of the house would be right by here. So kind of fun, play around with these drawings and see what you can think of, see what you can come up with, and so on. You can draw a little cat and stuff like that. So the next video, I'm going to end this video. The next video, I'm going to show you how to do the garage idea, and then there's just going to be a video that shows you some options. So this one, remember, if you didn't follow along with me, just go stop the video and go back. You can do anything you want to this side of the house right here, or just wait for the other videos and you'll get some more ideas.